We're trying to take two on Million Dollar Mama, the show. This is episode two. Um, First take, it sent me over to a streaming of some kind, which I don't know how to work because I don't know everything. So, welcome. This is episode two of the Million Dollar Mama Show. I am your host, Izzy Nalley, and I've titled this season one because we only have a season before this little one is due. So, I am officially 9 months pregnant and working like 80 hours a week. Which that sounds insane, I know, but it's really not as crazy as it sounds. So Mondays are extremely, extremely busy in my business. So the point of this show is to say, like, you get to live your life intentionally or you get to live your life with excuses. I did the excuses for a long time and I let myself wallow in pity or wallow in stress and all of that. But I think the quote that came up for me today when I was thinking about you all is knowledge is power. However, knowledge is only power if you use it. Okay, let that sink in. Knowledge is only power if you actually use it. So I had a ton of knowledge, and I knew exactly what I should and shouldn't be doing, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew all these things in the past, but I didn't always do it. And I find that so true with so many people in the business world, in the coaching industry, all of this. And I was a coach. Now I'm a consultant. But does everyone know the difference between a coach and a consultant? Because I don't feel like everyone does. But anyhow, um, as a coach or a consultant or whatever you're doing, are you practicing what you preach? Are you reading all these articles on like what a successful CEO does and the morning habits of a CEO? And you keep telling yourself, you're like, I know I need to wake up early and I know I need to do this and I know I need to do that. But then you're not doing it. At some point, you just get tired of letting yourself down and you have to say, I'm just gonna do it. Okay. So it's Monday, and in my world, which I love, I was texting Imani, my assistant, and we were chatting this morning, and she made a comment. She's like, I just want to know the secrets of being a superwoman because she asked me for a graphic, and I was like, I haven't made that yet, and I like made it in like 2 seconds, and she was like, how did you do that so fast? And I was like, I could create a graphic while I'm driving. Not that I've ever done that. That would be really dangerous. Uh, I can create one at a red light. How about that? So, yes, when you're doing things repetitively over and over and you have your system set up and you know what you need to do and you just start doing them and you stop letting the excuses and the noise get in the way. Um, you stop letting it get in the way and you just take action. Life gets a lot easier. It gets a whole lot easier. My other tip is I used to really run off caffeine. I know this is not an ad, I'm not getting paid for this. Um, but I've really started making the switch to not run into adrenal fatigue because that's a real thing. Uh, at one point, I was so exhausted and I was making no money. This was, prior life. I have multiple lives that have happened in this lifetime. I used to run on caffeine. I used to get a lot of stuff done. I was also really broke because I wasn't doing the money making steps. And my hair was falling out. And yes, I was extremely thin, which I liked. And I had a lot of energy, but all my energy was coming from caffeine. And I was having a lot of adrenal fatigue. I mean, my hair was literally falling out to the point where I was like wearing turbans if I wasn't having my extensions in. I was having nervous system problems. I was having so much issues going on. But I've done a lot of healing. I've gotten pregnant at 35, and I am having a far healthier pregnancy than I did with my other two pregnancies in my 20s. Now, granted, I was in a very, very unhealthy relationship in my 20s, and I was trying so hard to be successful. I knew I could do it. I knew I could do it. I believed in myself, but I wasn't hearing it from anyone else. And I didn't have any support teams. And I was in, again, a very unhealthy relationship. And it's amazing what negative stress does for you and what healthy stress does for you. So, healthy stress is a thing. Healthy stress is when we challenge ourselves and we work to overcome those challenges. For me, one of my challenges is Monday, and it's Monday. Monday did not always used to be my challenge day, um, and I used to take Monday as an easy day, and I was really proud of that for a very long time. But then I really started focusing on CEO habits. Like, what is it that super successful people do? How do they think? How do they function? And I read a lot about it, and I knew that I should do those things, but I just wasn't, because I thought I knew better. I thought I could figure out a different way. And I thought for sure, like, those were, when you just have certain ideas about certain types of people, and you're like, well, I want to be wealthy, but I don't want to be like all those other people. So I was like, being a rebel, and being a rebel wasn't making money. So at some point, I was like, okay, let's just give it a try. So the waking up early, which meant I had to go to bed a little bit early, the taking breaks, the reading more, the not drinking a ton of coffee all the time, making sure that I had real healthy energy, making sure that I was practicing my spirituality and that I was working from a heart centered space. All of these things were extremely, extremely important. And my health started improving. And so much so that now I have this extremely healthy baby inside of me that feels like an alien half the time. Uh, she's very, very healthy, and I'm even like, my last one was a C-section, and I'm getting to have a vaginal birth again. I did for my first one, but which was induced, and I'm not even being induced this time. So miracles can happen, people. Um, but how do I manage being pregnant and working 80 hours a week? How does one even get strapped into 80 hours a week? Well, I work 20 hours a week on one contract that I have with a corporate client. I work 40 hours a week with the second corporate contract that I have with a client, which the 40 hours a week is a really fun one for me, because I'm a director of digital marketing and I just love doing that. It's fun and easy for me. So you should pick things that are fun and easy for you. Uh, it doesn't feel like you're strapped for time. And then I spend 20 hours a week on my own personal business. Now, granted, I could just say, who needs their own personal business when you got two corporate clients, right? But $1 Million Mama has multiple income revenues, okay? We have multiple sources of income coming in. And we're doing it in a way that we're mixing it up to have that variety. I will also tell you, I am meticulously scheduled, and I have a routine, because routines are there to help you. And if you are one that fights routines because it makes you feel like it's taking your freedom away, routines give you freedom. Routines are things that you put in place so that eventually you no longer have to think about them. They just happen. And in fact, Sunday I was so off my routine and I was just kind of floating around and I didn't have any grounding that I actually kind of started getting a little angry and agitated because I didn't do any of my routines that I normally did. And I even had a hard time sleeping. So making sure to meditate every day or at least take some mindful time. I am also very good about making sure that I block off time to eat. I block off times to take a break. I block off times on my schedule to make sure that I'm hanging out with my kids. I block off time to make sure I'm hanging out with my husband. Literally, I schedule those things. And those routines also help my kids know when mom is available and when mom is not. And I give them their routines as well so that they have that expectation. Routines make our brain feel safe. Okay? Routines make our brain feel safe. Like you want to see this gigantic belly. It's huge. So I have on the fridge for the kids, like as soon as you come home, number one, you take your shower. Number two, you get your snack. Number three, you do your homework. Like that way I don't have to keep repeating myself. If they're like, I want this, and I'm like, did you do everything on the sheet? And we know, and we don't have to fight because we have these expectations. How would you like to go to work or live somewhere and you don't know what the expectations are and you're just floating through? And if you're already doing that, you probably already know. It feels like you're floating through because I did that for a long time. Also, being gentle with yourself and knowing that there's a trial and error period while you get there. I didn't get to where I am overnight. And I really want to make that clear because I used to strive so hard to try to be like these people. And yes, we need to have role models that we're working towards. But I couldn't accomplish what they were accomplishing. And I felt like I was failing. And again, I was putting myself in burnout because I didn't have this clear roadmap to get myself there. And so I I just kept this floating, wandering feeling, and it's not pleasant. And I'm telling you, routines. Like, oh, I've heard this before. Whatever, lady. Like, but what did she say? Channeling your inner superwoman. That's what she said she wanted to hear this morning. Channeling your inner superwoman. It's where you feel unstoppable. It's where you commit to be persistent. I don't know if you were like this, but when you're like 13, 14, even up to like 17, and you feel so mission driven, you feel like a hippie in a movement where you're just like, you just feel so passionate about something and nothing is going to stop you. Like you're going for that goal. We're doing a book study once a month, and we're doing Chasing the Bright Side. And I love reading is her as a kid, and she's talking about how she wanted to write an article for Chicken Soup for the Soul Teen Edition, and she just kept going and kept going and kept going. Wrote like 100 different things, just keep submitting until she got it. And for somehow, like as adults, we lose that because we get into survival mode. We stop daydreaming. We stop being playful. We stop letting ourselves cherish the little things. And when we stop cherishing the little things and when we lose our inner child and we start clinging, when you're clinging to expectations or you're clinging to perfectionism or you're clinging to self-judgment and comparison, and when you're clinging to all those things, everything gets tense and you stop being playful. You stop going with the flow. You can't go with the flow and cling to everything and be scared. Like at some point you just have to say, okay. Like someone challenged me to start getting on video every day and sharing about this stuff. And I could have said no, but I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. And then who thought one day I would be drinking non-caffeine soda? All right, to the real stuff. Things that are really true. You can look it up. I don't even have to tell them to you. Google top habits of CEOs. They're all those things you've been avoiding. You need to do them. You cannot accomplish all your goals at the same time, first and foremost. Multitasking is not real, okay? I can switch my attention, okay, my phone, this computer, that computer, the task list. You will not gather all the information you need if you are on your phone watching TV and listening to your partner talk. Don't do it. Put it down, pause it, whatever you need to do. One thing at a time. Now you can be an octopus and you can have one hand here and one hand there and one hand there. And you can have your hands all in one spot so that you're getting your alerts. But you cannot be writing something here, listening to this, and doing that, and all of that at the same time. It's not going to work. You're going to burn yourself out. One thing at a time. Now, when I say that, you can go for a walk and listen to an audiobook, but that's a body activity and a mind activity. When you're trying to do 5 different mind activities at the same time, it's not going to work. Okay? So someone sends you a message while you're in the middle of writing another sentence. Finish writing the sentence, then go to the message. If it's going to take you more than 60 seconds to do whatever they're asking, then just tell them you'll get back to them in 5-10 minutes whenever you're finishing up your thing. Try to do one thing at a time. Stop frying your brain. So I don't accomplish 80 hours of work each week by half-assing it and just doing tasks. When you want to play big, when you want to be CEO, you put money-making activities first. Money-making activities first. When you're working. Let me clarify that. We put brain-calming activities first before we're getting ready to do something. I tell clients this all the time. They're like, I just can't think. I can't get creative. Go meditate for 5 minutes. Meditate for 5 minutes before you transition to your next thing. Or take 2 minutes. And most of us have one of these nowadays. It's got the breathe for 60 seconds. Breathe for 60 seconds before you transition to the next project. Please, for your own sanity. Breathing is important. Okay, so this episode's a little more playful just because Mondays are really, really, really crazy for me. Like 30-minute breaks in between meetings all day long, all day long, and some days on Mondays and Tuesdays, I might work till 10 o'clock at night. I'll start at 6 a.m. and I'll work till 10. But then I know myself, and I know that I need to move slow and gentle on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday is when most people are on. That's when we can do lives. That's when we can follow up in a different way. But know who you're working with. Caterize to that. Know your family life. Pay attention. Notice what days are going to work well and what days are not. And so I have 2 heavy days, and I'm gung-ho, and I'm getting a lot of stuff done, and I get the bulk of it done in the beginning so that I can chill out a little bit more on Wednesday and Thursday. And I do that for the kiddos. And then Friday is like half the day I'm pushing hard, and then the other half is chill. And Saturday is a mix. And then Sunday I take it slow. Sunday's self-care. Sunday is just go with the flow. That might work for you. I also know that extremely planning out and journaling and really setting myself up for success and knowing what my goals are for the week ahead of time. Like Monday morning, I'm waking up at 6 because I need to know what really needs to be done this week and how am I going to divide that out. It's strategic. It's not winging. We don't wing it. Be strategic. Don't wing it. Okay? Now, in the moment, moment by moment, we know what our goals are. We might be winging it a little bit here and there. Like, I'm winging it for this. But I know what my goals are for the week. And I can separate them out. And I'm a very visual person, so I plan them all out. If there's to-do list, okay, how long is that item going to take me? I put it on the schedule. And I can see where I can move it to and where I can't. So if you're a procrastinator, you can clearly see that, oh, I can't procrastinate on this. Like, it has to get done. And in the beginning, that was logging and blocking time so I could kind of see my schedule. It's trial and error. Be gentle with yourself. Have grace. Have grace with yourself. Treat yourself like you would treat a friend. You want to be friends with yourself. So, I'm Izzy Nalley. This is the $1,000,000 Mama Show. And in this, I'm going to give you tips. I'm going to tell you my life is not perfect. I'm going to tell you that, I didn't come from wealth. I created it. I'm the first woman in my family that is the breadwinner. I'm the first woman in my family who's not dependent on a man for income. I am I'm the rebel in my family. I'm the only one that like went to college multiple times. um, Not that I needed to do that to be where I'm at, but it definitely helped in my path. But it doesn't have to be your path. And I'm gonna share a lot of my struggles along the way. Monday and Tuesday are also my busy days because I don't have my two other kiddos on this day. On these days, they're with their dad. Um, but we're getting ready to have a baby. And then I'm sure this season two will be a whole nother story of learned lessons of what life is going to be like. And yes, I am doing a show. The last one I was in my robe, and today is no makeup, and I'm in bed both times because I am 9 months pregnant. And this is how it is right now. I am working from bed. I've got notebooks everywhere. I've got two computers. I occasionally get up to go to the bathroom and get a snack. My husband comes home at 3, and then he can help me out with things too. And occasionally, on a day, if I have the time, I will take a nap in the middle of the day if I need to. Yes, I will. Set a timer. And if I'm feeling really forgetful, I have these little personal assistants on here that I can set reminders to remind me of things. So utilize technology. Utilize all the tools we have available. There's no excuse for anything anymore. You either choose or you don't choose. You choose something to be intentional or you choose to not make a choice. That's still a choice. All right. So, thank you for joining episode 2. I will be back tomorrow and I might have who knows what. Tomorrow, I'll tell you what, I will go through what my normal day looks like, um, and walk you through that. It's kind of scary, but you can do it if you are determined. If you put that determination down, and the biggest word is intention. Okay? Knowledge is only powerful if you put it to use. See you next time.